What's up, y'all? It's another NASCAR weekend, and we're back in Iowa for the second year in a row. We're in Newton, Iowa, at the IOWA Speedway. Two series are in action this weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is off this week, and they will be back next week at Watkins Glenn. Now, all eyes have been on the NASCAR Xfinity Series this week with Austin Hill and Eric Almirola getting into each other in Indy. More on that soon. We also have an opening for one of the colleague cars in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. More on that as well. Now, on Saturday, the NASCAR Xfinity Series will run the HyVee Perks 250. That's 250 laps, 218 miles. Lots of happenings last week going into Iowa. Connor Zilisch continues his dominance of the NASCAR Xfinity Series with his third straight win, multiple top fives. Can he win again? Also, Junior Motorsports last week, 100 wins. Congratulations, Junior Motorsports. Can they make it 101 with another Connor Zilisch win? We'll see. Now, there's only two former winners that'll be racing here on Saturday. That's Justin Allgaier and Sam Mayer. 38 drivers will attempt to qualify for this race, but all 38 drivers will qualify for this race. Now, Ross Chastain did double duty last week, once in the trucks and won a cup. This week, he's doing double duty again, but he's in that red hot number 9 Junior Motorsport Chevrolet. We'll see what he can do there. Now, Corey Day will run the 1700cars.com Chevrolet. And also, Austin Dillon will be running in the 21 Austin Hills car after Austin Hill was suspended by NASCAR. Like I said, more on that pretty soon. Carson Hocevar will run in the number 11 Colleague Chevrolet this weekend. More on that information as well. But like I said, more on Josh Williams and Austin Hill in a few. Now, Sam Mayer won this race last year. Maybe he can bring Ford a win because they desperately need one. Chevrolets have been winning a lot, and it's pretty dominant. Now, on Sunday, the NASCAR Cup Series will run the Iowa Corn 350. That's 350 laps, 300 miles, with only 4 races left until the playoffs, with the in-season tournament over and all eyes looking forward to those playoffs. And congratulations, by the way, Ty Gibbs with the in-season tournament. And what a gesture, giving Ty Dillon some little cash, pocket change. I think he said 10,000 or something like that. Now, 37 drivers will qualify for 40 spots, so every driver will make the field. So 2311 and Front Row Motorsports have nothing to worry about. The NASCAR Cup Series returns, like I said, for the second year in a row after their inaugural race last year, won by Ryan Blaney, who led 201 laps last year, pretty much dominant. Also, Joey Gase will be running the NASCAR Cup Series in a special paint scheme. You'll have to see that in the paint schemes here. He'll be running in that 66 Ford for Garage 66 this weekend. So see Joey Gase there in the NASCAR Cup Series field. Can Bubba Wallace continue his momentum after a big Indy Brickyard 400 last weekend? What an ending to that race. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But congratulations, Bubba. He is now in the playoffs and not have to worry about anything because he was on the bubble going into that race. Speaking of the bubble, there's a lot of playoff standings changing, so we'll bring those to you here in a little bit as well. Now it's time for the paint schemes for the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and when I come back, I'll give you my favorite paint schemes of the week, and then we'll also talk about Austin Hill. We'll talk about Josh Williams. We'll also talk about a couple of NASCAR news, and also we'll go over the playoff standings. Playoffs, we'll show you who's up front, has nothing to worry about, and we'll show you who's on the bubble just trying to get in. So here are the paint schemes for the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and let's go. I hope you enjoyed those paint schemes like we do every week here. Every Friday, we release a new paint scheme and race weekend preview to get you ready for the weekends with us. So make sure you are looking for those videos. Make sure you have your notification bells on so you know when we drop those videos on Fridays. If you're a member, we give you early access to those paint schemes and race weekend previews. So become a member today so you don't have to wait all day to release them to see who CeeLo picked to win. All right, so here are my favorite NASCAR Xfinity Series paint schemes for the week. I'm going to start with Connor Zilisch with 3 in a row. Can he make it 4 in this 88 KOA Chevrolet? Looks pretty good. Ross Chastain, like I said, doing double duty in that number 9 Acceptance Insurance Chevrolet. Could he pull this one off? Could be. Sheldon Creed, always a bridesmaid, never a bride, but always American pride with that 00 Road Ranger bucket up Ford. Love that color. Now for the NASCAR Cup Series SVG. I love the Red Bull paint scheme and I'll pick it every week. 88 Red Bull Chevrolet SVG. What about SVG last week? He's getting these ovals, y'all. He is getting these ovals. We might have a surprise. I don't know. I'm still sticking with it though. Good possibility you might see SVG later in the playoffs. Playoffs. Joey Gase, I was talking about him in that 66 garage Ford and that King of the Hill Ford. I do like this one. It's a good one. Cody Ware in that 51 Costa Oil Ford. Man, gold wheels, gold everything on this car. Love it. Josh Berry, Shark Blood in that Menards Ford. Never seen a Menards Ford in all green. I've always seen it that yellow, that bright yellow, but I like this green Ford. Denny Hamlin in this new sponsor, Bob's Garage 11 Toyota. Don't like it. You're never going to see me wear a Bob's Garage hat unless I get it pretty cheap. And a shirt too. You never know. But you'll never see me in one of those Bob's Garage 11 Toyotas. Don't like it. Ross Chastain in that Busch Light number 1 Farming Chevrolet. Good. Trackhouse always has great paint schemes. So those are my favorite paint schemes of the week. Let's talk about some news out of NASCAR this week. All eyes were on the NASCAR Xfinity Series this week after the race was over for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Indianapolis. Austin Hill's left hook on Eric Almirola, getting him back for Almirola, nudging him a little bit. Uh, NASCAR suspends Austin Hill for 1 week, and Hill will lose all his regular season playoff points. Playoffs due to a condition where the waiver was set by NASCAR that you have to race in every race. If not, you will lose all of your playoffs. But he will continue. He will be in the playoffs with his wins, but he will lose all 21 of his points, and he will lose all other points if he's gained any going into the playoffs. So Austin Hill, a big hit. He will make the playoffs, but huge hit for his chances of getting a championship here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Also, Richard Childress decided not to appeal the decision by NASCAR, so it is set with Austin Hill suspended for this week and Austin Dillon taking over his spot, drive that 21 Chevrolet this weekend for RCR. I know a lot of people wanted Rowdy Busch in that car, but no, Austin Dillon will be in the 21. So, other news, Josh Williams is out of Kaulig Racing, effective immediately. NASCAR Xfinity Series number 11, who had those great paint schemes with the flag all the time. But Josh Williams has been in the 11 Kaulig Series, Xfinity Series. He's been in the Xfinity Series since 2024. Now, Kaulig will fill the rest of the season with different drivers here and there. And this weekend, it's Carson Hocevar. So we'll see. So Josh Williams had 240 career starts. His best finish was 6th place. Josh Williams also will always be known for him parking his car in Atlanta and walking away from it and waving to the crowd after he was kind of upset about a couple decisions. Also, Stuart Friesen in the 54 Craftsman Truck Series last week, of course, uh, had a great finish, but was suspended DNQ'd due to a too high or too low. I can't remember what it was, but on his birthday too. And then a horrible crash this week where he was racing an open wheel on dirt and he fractured his leg, he fractured his pelvis, and he's in the hospital. So he is out indefinitely for the rest of the year for sure in that 52 truck. So also, a judge in North Carolina has decided to give Legacy Motor Club Toyota a grant and restraining order to Rick Ware Racing for selling a charter to sell the team to other buyers. So more on that one coming up as well. So there is your NASCAR news. All right, here are the point standings for the NASCAR Xfinity Series with 5 races left. Let's take a look at the standings right here. Connor Zilic continues to lead by 29 points there. Allgaier in second with 22 points. Austin Hill with 21. He's in third, but he will lose all those playoffs points, so I'm surprised they're still there. Jesse Love with 6 and Brandon Jones with 8. There's your top 5. Now let's scroll to the bottom of it on the bubble. The Burtons are battling for on the bubble. Jeb Burton is in plus 10. Harrison Burton is minus 10. Could it come down to Jeff Burton or Jeb Burton or Harrison Burton in the playoffs? This should be interesting. Ryan Sieg is minus 20 and Dean Thompson is minus 57. So who's going to make this playoffs? Who's going to make it? Who's going to get in? We'll see. Now, here is the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs with 4 races left. Denny Hamlin in first with 24 points. Kyle Larson in second with 23. Christopher Bell with plus 17. SVG, look at him, with plus 17 as well. Chase Elliott with 6 points. Even though he is the regular season points leader, he could be the points champion at the end of these 4 races, but we'll see where everybody finishes. So there is your top 5. And then on the bubble, with Bubba Wallace winning last week, it has changed up the playoff standings to craziness, hurting a lot of drivers. Chris Buescher is plus 42 above the line, but Ryan Preece, his teammate, RFK teammate Ryan Preece is minus 42. And then you got Rowdy at minus 81, Ty Gibbs at minus 95, and then Almendinger at minus 124. It's going to be tough for these guys to get in, but it's going to be a win or you're in. So Buescher is in right now. We'll see. He can't afford any bad stuff to happen at Iowa, but we'll see where this goes as we get closer to the playoffs. All right, so here are my picks for the NASCAR Xfinity Series HyVee 250 this Saturday. Here are some kind of the betting odds. Justin Allgaier is a plus 275. Zilic is a plus 275. Ross Chastain is a plus 425. So those are your picks there, your favorites. And I'm going to go Allgaier here because I know I picked him last week, but that was his to win last week. He was very distraught, and you could see on the pit road, he was explaining to Junior, I'm sorry, but he should have won the 100th victory for Junior Motorsports. But so I'm going to go Allgaier. I think he has something to prove. I think he wants to win, get back into it. Justin Allgaier for the win. My dark horse, here are some of the stats here. Sam Merritt plus 1,000. Austin Dillon for Austin Hill is at plus 1,000. Ryan Sieg is at plus 2,500. And I like Hocevar in that 11 car for Josh Williams. He's a plus 1,000 as well. I know it's kind of iffy with dark horse, but it falls off pretty quick. I'm going Carson Hocevar for the big win. That car has speed. We've seen Josh Williams qualify high in this car. I think he can do it. Josh Williams out, Carson Hocevar in, and gets a win. All right, here for the NASCAR Cup Series, the Iowa Corn 350. Ryan Blaney's at plus 450. Kyle Larson's at plus 450. Christopher Bell's at plus 475. Denny Hamlin's at plus 750. And William Byron, Willie B, is at plus 800. Blaney led 201 laps last year. Does he do it again? Does Ford dominate? I think Larson wins this weekend. Kyle Larson wins, uh, but I think he does. I think he pulls it off. He was there at the end. He was hungry, but just couldn't pull it off. Kyle Larson gets the win here in Iowa, not a Ford, not Ryan Blaney. Now, my dark horse, Tyler Reddick at plus 1,600, Chase at plus 1,700, Josh Berry at plus 2,200, Chris Buescher at plus 2,500, Kyle Busch at plus 3,500. Ricky Stenhouse he ran here pretty good last year. I think he had a top 10, and he's ran here good before in the Xfinity Series. Put a bet on Recchi. He's at plus 15,000. If he wins, you cash out and you get a win all with Recchi. Crazy. But I'm going to go Tyler Reddick here. He's at plus 1,600. He saw Bubba win last week. Denny talked about on his podcast that he would love to have all three 2311 cars in the playoffs. But Tyler Reddick gets a win, and he was talking about, man, maybe Riley could get in at Daytona. He's raced well there. The start happens for 2311 to say, hey, all three of our teams have made the playoffs, and we're all non-chartered cars. So let's go Tyler Reddick for the win here. The dark horse for Tyler Reddick. All right, so you know the stats on the races. You know the paint schemes. You know all the information. You know my picks. Now you got to know is when we're streaming. And it's going to start on Saturday morning for NASCAR Xfinity Series practice and qualifying, NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying, NASCAR Xfinity Series race, the HyVee Perks 250 on Saturday, and then on Sunday, the Iowa Corn 350. So lots of action coming here on Saturday for you guys and on Sunday. So looking forward to seeing you guys in the stream. So did not get to go out of town, so we will be here with you full throttle like we always do. So looking forward to kicking off the month right and seeing you guys in the stream. So thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you comment in the comments below who you think's going to win this race. Who's your favorite paint schemes? What do you think about the Austin Hill penalty? What do you think about Josh Williams out of the car? Anything you want to talk about, make sure you comment in the comments below. So we thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the like button on this stream and subscribe to the channel. We had a huge weekend last weekend, going over 34,000 subscribers. We'd love to get some more. So we thank you again. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. And we'll see you in Iowa, baby. Let's go. It's going to be a good weekend. I already know it. I can feel it. Let's go.